Well, hello, welcome to the Geeknd Live, where we chat film stuff and stuff, really. Just kind of see how it goes as we go along. I'm Jamie, by the way, and welcome once again. And let me tell you about what we have in store for you in this week's alleged entertainment. So we will talk Cara Dune not being recast in The Mandalorian. Do you think that's the right move? Cara Dune or Cara Dune? We will discuss that. Rian Johnson's Star Wars trilogy might still be on. I'm not so sure. What about you? We will talk about that as well. And also, let's share our thoughts on the Synder Cut Justice League trailer as well. I've got a couple of thoughts on that. But first of all, hello, Chad Campbell. Chad, the stopwatch Campbell already throwing the law at me, the rule book of trying to do a 30-minute show, or at least as close to 30 minutes as possible. And I suppose the average time of 55 minutes is kind of close-ish to 30 minutes, rounding down. Philip Hawkins is in the chat as well. And at the beginning of a stream for the first time, miracles do happen. He said it himself. Roy Keane, Keno in the chat, fresh from a dog walk, I'm sure. And we have Peter as well. I need to say your name right. If not, I'm just going to start calling you Peter. I'm sure I'm not pronouncing it right. Peter? Anyway, let's get into our stories. And may I ask you kindly, if you haven't already, to hit that like button as well, and maybe even possibly, consider subscribing, and maybe going one step further and ringing my bell. I'm going to try and take this banner thing off now. I think I've plugged the social medias enough there. There we go. That's off. The chat is open. Badik Dad is in the house. Rob Heaton as well. Rian Johnson making the headlines. Once again, we will talk about it. Bit of feedback on the name pronunciation. Was I right saying Pieter or Peter? Let me know. I need to know. Also, thank you to NJ Neil Jens with the 16k subs. Yeah, I don't know if I'll be on 16k subs by the end of this stream. Not because of anything I plan on saying, at least, but because I just tend to lose after live streams. I don't know what I do to you. Killing you all softly with my streaming. And Simon Drake is here as well. So a reminder for anybody just joining us, the free stories we're looking at tonight, or wherever you are in the world, whatever time of day it is, we're going to talk about Cara Dune not being recast in The Mandalorian. Is that the right thing? As I hilariously said earlier, Cara Dune or Cara Dune, worth saying again, surely. Rian Johnson's Star Wars trilogy might still be on. I'm not so sure, but I want to know what you guys think. And let's talk about the Synder Cut Justice League trailer. I'm not going to put it up on screen because I got told off by YouTube last time I showed the was it the Godzilla Kong trailer a few weeks ago. But anyway, I've seen the trailer. See, Simon is just watching it now, so he can be in the loop. That is dedication to the show, Simon. I like it. I want to know what you guys thought of this. Will it be better than the original 2017 version? I mean, that shouldn't be the hardest task in cinematic history, really, should it? But let me know in the chat, in the comments, if you're watching on the replay, and I will come over to the chat shortly as well. It seems to have done a pretty good job of a good trailer in getting people pumped. I saw a lot of excitement online for it. I'm not particularly pumped. Do I look pumped to you? Maybe semi-pumped. I mean, it was okay. I'm just skeptical. I think rightly so. I'm skeptical. I didn't like the original, the Joss Whedon finished version, but I'm intrigued yet skeptical. But it's a case of being once bitten, twice shy. I mean, if you had a bad meal somewhere, you wouldn't go back to that somewhere and ask for even more of that bad meal, would you? And on this occasion, we're talking 4 hours worth of that bad meal. But of course, I edit. I'm not comparing any of my videos to a big movie like this, but I edit and I understand how editing. And I know Simon Drake's in the chat, and Chad Campbell's in the chat. I know you both edit too. Obviously, the edit is where a lot of the magic happens, and the tone can be changed. So much can be changed. So there is a chance that this could be, and I'm sure will be, a very different prospect to what we had before. And I think I'm right in saying, let me know, that Zack Snyder never saw Joss Whedon's finished version. And I'm kind of thinking you'd surely want to watch it to see what didn't work. You'd end up with a lot of notes, or maybe someone's hopefully at least close to him giving him some notes from watching it themselves. But then again, he obviously believes in his original vision. And I have to say, I do respect that to a certain extent, fans made this happen. That's pretty cool. Fans and also money made it happen as well. Let's not ignore that minor detail. And the nightmare scene, I've got some screen grabs here. Maybe I can put them up. The nightmare scene looks really cool, and Jared Leto's new look Joker was pretty intriguing. Look, I'm going to watch it, and I will go into it open-minded. I think that's the fair thing to do, the best thing to do. Go into it and treat it like a new film. So I will let you know when I've seen that. I think it's mid-March on HBO Max in the States, or in North America at least. I don't have any information. I couldn't find any information. Maybe I didn't look hard enough about Europe, the UK. But when I do get to see it, I'll let you know what I think. I love the Cruella trailer, by the way. Didn't expect that. Right, so let's see what any guys, any gals, anyone in the chat wants to say about Justice League. The second, so Peter, this is not about Justice League, by the way. The second, so just saying Peter is fine. Great. Hello. A lot of hellos. Simon Drake, like I said, just watching the trailer. Gaz, Nottingham's in the house as well. Gaz, I am going to do the WandaVision video. It's going to be a sort of post-season review now. I didn't realize we were pretty much at the midway point when I said I might also do a midway point video about it. Yeah, a few comments already on our next few stories, which we will come to. What's Chad Campbell saying about Justice League? Chad Campbell is saying what you can see on screen. It's exciting, isn't it, this software that I'm using these days? Let me see. I've got to read comments before I put them on screen, broadcasting them to 21 people. Right. What are you saying, Chad? It won't take much to be harder. Better than 2017's Justice League. People seem to be super divisive on Zack Snyder. I think he is hit and miss, but I tend to enjoy his full control director's cuts more. So this could well be the version for you, Chad. Marco's here as well, talking about Gina Carano, which we'll come on to later. Chad Campbell, he's back. I don't think it's super unreasonable, not necessarily fair. Oh, hang on. This is something about Gina. We're going to come to that later as well. Philip Hawkins on Justice League. I wasn't a fan of the original cut, but I can't help thinking that a 4-hour film is going to drag. Yeah, I mean, I'm just a guy talking on the internet, asking you to subscribe. But I for Lord of the Rings, which I bang on about a lot, I'm all about the extended versions, editions, all the time, anytime. So I don't mind a long film, but that's an extended version of a film I'd already enjoyed, when you go and see the regular cut at the cinemas. So of course I want more, but this is not that. But we'll see. Daniel Rigg is here as well, all the way from Canada. I can't complain about being cold in the shed tonight when Daniel's here in Canada. It's got to be cold, all right? Yeah, making tons of money with a movie that was already released, that's reason enough. Yeah, especially as, studios haven't had the best of times like so many industries and individuals of late in terms of making the moolah. So, yeah, you got a film that's already been shot. I don't believe they did any pickups. I could be wrong for it. But yeah, it's there. Obviously, there's editing involved and you're going to spend some money, but you're going to make that back and more. Comment on Cruella from Daniel as well. Cruella is trying too hard to be the Disney's Harley Quinn. Yeah, I can see that. I didn't expect to love the trailer, but I really did. More pumped for that than Justice League. Right. So I think I've gone through. No, I haven't. David Milano's here. David Milano is saying, I kind of feel like Zack Snyder's grim, dark version of the DC universe is like the post-Batman and Robin comic book movies. Kind of embarrassed by the source material. I know, not popular opinion. Well, let's see what others say regarding that, David Milano. I can't help but think your name. I'm sorry. I know I should be over that by now. NJ, I got bored of superhero movies after X-Men 2, so I don't have much input. Fair enough, mate. Fair enough. Don't worry. Right. Final one on Justice League before we move on to Gina Carano. Simon Drake, Justice League Redux looks really similar to me. I'm often a bit meh on the visual style on the original superhero films in general, so a bit meh with Justice League. Yeah, I mean, I think the tone is going to be the tone of Joss Whedon's Justice League in terms of the humor was kind of trying to be a bit marvelly with its humor. I don't think we'll have that, and it certainly doesn't look like we'll have that with the Snyder cut. And it does, in terms of visual tone, look very pretty dark as well, which you kind of expect from. So I think we got some agreement with David from Chad Campbell. There we go. Yeah, but I mean, I like the fun Batman. I like the dark Batman. You know, I've liked all the Batmans, and I will I will enjoy Batman and Robin in a very different way to how I'll enjoy Batman or any of the Dark Knight trilogy. I accept it for what it is. And Mr. Freeze puns, I'm here for them always. Right, let's move on to. Sorry if I've missed anything out. Gaz Nottingham. If the Snyder, this is why the show's never 30 minutes, because I just can't move on. If the Snyder cut is a success, we will get a follow-on movie from Zack. Yeah. I imagine so. I think it's going to be a success. You know, the fans that helped make this happen, they're all going to watch it. There's a lot of them. And I want to see it, and I will make a video about it. So I will, however it's brought in on the UK, whatever platform, I'll pay to see it. I don't think we'll have cinemas open by mid-March, but we'll see. Sidge is in the house as well. I haven't read your message, but I'll put it straight on screen because I trust you, Sidge. I think it's going to be bad. Could well be. Loads of people have based their personalities on getting it released, and they're going to be gutted. Batman v Superman was pants. Yeah. I think the only DC film of late I've liked was the first Wonder Woman. Really enjoyed and would happily watch again. I didn't like Batman versus Superman, and Batman's my favorite superhero. I said before, I've loved all Batman movies, but I did not enjoy Batman v Superman. Did not enjoy Justice League, and I think the safe bet is it's going to be bad, but I will still be there, and I'm going to give it a chance. I'm going to go in with an open mind and imagining it to be a brand new film that I've never seen before. It'll be interesting, really, just to see how different it is. Right. So I have got a screen to share. Exciting times. Is that how yeah, there we go. Now, how do I move the? I'm still learning, people. I'm going to be learning forever. It's just life, isn't it? You know. So here we are. This is the latest update on the Gina Carano situation. Cara Dune or Cara Dune? Should the character be recast or not? Well, it seems, and I think this originally came from the Hollywood Reporter, that she will not be recast. The Disney spokesman says Gina Carano's Cara Dune will not be recast in The Mandalorian. A little bit of scrolling for you there. We're on IndieWire right now. Yeah, I mean, this is obviously after the firing of Gina Carano. I mean, do you think this character should be recast? I'm going to come over to the chat. I mean, this is what I think. I think it's a shame what's happened from a Star Wars point of view. I do think it's a shame. I really do. Sorry, I got distracted by the beautiful looking shirts on display there. I do think it's a shame. I mean, I liked the character. I did. But I don't think it's a I don't think it's a huge problem in terms of storyline. You know, I don't think it's a big deal there. I know there's a bigger deal in play here, but I don't think the character needs to be recast because we need to continue the character's story within the Mandalorian. Correct me if I'm wrong here, but at least for me, I don't think there was any major loose ends that were left dangling by her. You know, at the end of that season 2, we're thinking about Grogu, we're thinking about Luke, we're thinking about Mandalore, the Darksaber, Bo-Katan, Gideon. I wasn't particularly thinking about, I wonder what's going to happen with Cara Dune in season 3. I think it's probably a bigger problem for the Rangers show. I think the guess is that she was probably going to be pretty central to that. So how much will it change their plans there? But of course, early days in pre-production, so that will be remedied. I'd prefer they didn't kill her off. I'd prefer that, you know, just let Poe pop up and tell us that somehow Cara Dune went missing. You know, leave it open. I don't think they will. I don't think they will kill her off. I think that would deepen wounds for people who are very passionate about the character and the actor as well, you know, and I'm not here to berate those people at all. And also, I think if you recast, that will keep the debate that Disney surely don't want lingering, you know. So I think they will keep they are keeping their options open. I don't think they've said they're not going to recast. I don't think they'll kill the character off in season 3. I think there has to be some sort of mention. Like I said, bring back Poe just for that little cameo. I don't think this is likely. She's probably not going to come back, as in Gina Carano, as Cara Dune. But you never know. You know, Disney fired James Gunn, and he came back. So I suppose there is a slim chance. So Disney would probably be right in keeping their options open in terms of the character. And obviously, if you recast it, then it's just weird to then bring Gina back if there is a redemption in the real world. But yeah, I mean, regarding the firing, I know people are going to want to talk about that as well. I don't really do. I'm going to half dodge it. I don't really do drama on this channel. I never have. I've created some drama in the past, and I didn't like it. And that was with the Tim Rose interview, which some of his comments were taken out of context and created a load of gave fodder to people to create some sort of angry videos and write articles. I didn't like being part of that. I don't really do Star Wars politics off the channel, so why would I do it on the channel? You know, I avoid the Twitter storms. I really do. It's not why I like Star Wars. It's not the escapism I want. I think some people do want it. I really do think some people get, you know, thrive to a certain extent in being, you know, part of it and caught in it on both sides of the debate. And I, you know, for me, life is just tiring enough right now. You know, look, I think most of you who are on these on the stream know me by now, and you know I'm a bit of a lefty, you know, so I have my views. So therefore, you'll probably know anyway without me saying how I haven't seen her earlier tweets. I should say I've heard about them. I'm not going to comment on those because I haven't read them. But I've heard the suggestion that she's been very offensive to the transgender community and is anti-massacre. I haven't read them. I'm just saying that's what I've heard. And people who know me will know I would be against both, very much against both of those views, if they are indeed her views. I haven't read those tweets, and I'm not going to read those tweets. I saw the most recent thing because, you know, it made it into articles that I'm currently covering right now on this stream. That was everywhere. Maybe the other ones were everywhere, but I didn't catch them. But this one very much I caught. So yeah, you know, like I have my lefty views, but I like to discuss real world politics, you know, with those who don't share my views. I have friends who don't share my political views. That's okay. You know, I like The Last Jedi. You don't like The Last Jedi. for me, that's cool. That's fine. You know, we don't have to fight about it. It's ridiculous. I get some very funny comments about people who don't like The Last Jedi on my videos, and I enjoyed them. I'm open to that. That is fine if you didn't like it. So, you know, I like to discuss these things, but that doesn't happen on this platform or pretty much every social media platform. It's from both sides. It's one way ranting, and I don't like that. I'm tired of that. Brexit in the UK burnt me, to be honest. I was very much pro Remain and pro second referendum. I'm going to contradict some of the things I've said already here, but I was very much, you know, part of that passionate argument. I went on, you know, on marches, etc. But you know, I've just reached the point where I'm tired. I don't have the headspace for it anymore. Like I said, 2020, 2021 is tiring enough as it is. So I don't want to get involved with this kind of thing. And that's not what my channel is about anyway. I want to make, you know, I can't always make unique content, but I try. And I want people from both sides of the Star Wars political agenda, whatever, to enjoy that, you know. I will not support, you know, what I said earlier in terms of you know, anti-maskers and you know, bullying. I will not ever support that, but I'm not going to be ever joining the storm. You know, I could and probably get more clicks, more subscribers, more ad revenue. You know, might be able to upgrade the shed, get some heating in, but I'm not going to. I'm not going to. Yeah, but I have to say as well, I did read this article earlier. I could scroll through the article, but I don't think anyone can really see it anyway because my internet connection is so bad at the moment. It's probably all pixelated. But yeah, you know, look, at the end of the day, you can't. I don't take pleasure either from seeing, you know, someone's livelihood taken away from them. Do not take pleasure from that, and I would be open to the real life redemption arc that I mentioned earlier with Gino Carano. But you know, companies, your employers, they have the right to not agree with your views that you have the right to have, and I think the company has the right to, you know, the power to remove you as their ambassador, because that's the thing, you're an ambassador, and this is a really complicated situation that social media has created. And I say the right to remove you, of course, if they've warned you, discussed the situation with you as well. And I think I'm right in saying that she had been warned previously. I might be wrong. I don't know. You know, I don't know. But I like to think that they certainly did have conversations. And it sounds like the final straw tweet, or was it an Instagram post, was not the final straw. It sounds like this decision was made before the most recent, you know, incident, if you like. But yeah, you know, again, if what I've heard is true, then Disney clearly can't support that kind of messaging, especially the masks during a pandemic. It's dangerous, and to be honest, it's just clumsy, really. You know, it's clumsy. What you doing, dude? It's like if I was the publicist, you know, I'd be tearing all this hair out. But I don't know. You know, by the time this latest message had come out, or tweet or post, perhaps the deed was done already. Yeah, I don't know. But moving forward, it's really complicated, because I also see on the other side, on the left side of the political argument, where I would be, but I'm not going to get involved with it. Not that I would shake things up much, but you know, on the other side, of course, I think, I don't know. I mean, so some of you know that I've worked a lot for the BBC in the past, and I'm still there as a freelancer, although they're not really using freelancers at the moment. So yeah, good old pandemic. But anyway, enough about me. But I'm still on the emails, like the kind of BBC, you know, general emails. And this came in a few months ago. The BBC obviously is a much bigger company than Lucasfilm, not Disney, but Lucasfilm. And it's a very different company. You know, news is one of the main things it does, and it's impartial. It's a public service broadcaster. It's supposed to be impartial. Now, I think they do a good job, because during Brexit, sorry to bring that up again, you had Remainers saying the BBC were too pro-Brexit, and you had tears saying the BBC were too pro Remain. So to me, that means they're doing their job. Although I have had some problems with some of the way they've dealt with certain stories, but that's another thing. But anyway, they brought in a kind of rule where staff members, so this doesn't include me, should not air political views on public social media, like Twitter, obviously, as an ambassador for an impartial public service broadcaster, particularly if you work in news. Now, for Disney, it's a bit different. They're not a public service broadcaster. They're not a news broadcaster as such, although they do own, in the States, they own news networks, don't they? So it would be quite difficult for them to, impose a blanket rule on all actors appearing in, say, The Mandalorian. I haven't seen Pedro's tweet, but I know people have said, hang on, why is it okay for Pedro to say things about Trump supporters? I'm agreeing here. I haven't seen that tweet, but if that's true, then, how does Disney get a balance? I don't think they can, because these actors are freelance. They're working on other projects. They're not owned by Disney. So I hear the argument of, the imbalance in terms of political views being broadcast by Disney, as I called ambassadors earlier. I don't know what they can do about that. It's a really complicated situation, and I am rambling, aren't I? And it's almost 30 minutes in. But I don't think they should recast the character, and I don't think they should kill off the character. Keep it open, see what happens. I'm sure there's going to be many more seasons of The Mandalorian to come. Who knows? Very slim chance, but who knows? Maybe they can sort things out together. And everyone I spoke to or saw interviews with seemed to speak quite highly of her on set. I interviewed Paul Sun-Hyung Lee last week for a future These Are the Actors You're Looking For episode, and he spoke very highly of her as a person. This was before all this happened. I know Carl Weathers has as well. But anyway, what's happened has happened. I didn't expect to talk so much about that, but right, let's see what you guys think about the recasting. Where are we? Okay. I'm sorry, I'm trying to find where I was earlier in the chat. I've had quite a few comments. Right, okay, I think I'm here. Lash D's here, by the way. Yeah, 4 hours, man. That's for the Snyder Cut. Right. No, it's still Justice League. I'm sorry, this is the worst stream ever, isn't it? Right. Here we go. Chad Campbell. We're talking Cara Dune now. My idea is to have them reveal that Cara Dune's secret female lover will take her place upon learning of the Empire killing her. Could happen. Something's got to happen, hasn't it? Barik Dad, we love our Gina, and that's okay. I'm not gonna shut anybody down for their love of a character and an actor. Again, I haven't seen these tweets. If she's truly anti-Semitic and anti-masker, a bully to the transgender community, then that is not good. That is not something I will support, but I don't know. I haven't seen them anyway. Right. Filmic Crossroads. There's a lot of opinions on this topic. And honestly, I think working for Disney, she would have already been briefed and warned about going into the controversial topics. Absolutely. That's the thing. That's why I said it's just clumsy. It really is. But I think that third one, the final one, again, I think the decision had already been made by then. So perhaps she was just like, yeah, whatever. I haven't heard about next season, so I'm obviously not in it anymore. I'll say what I want. Okay. It makes it easy to rewrite it. Also replace her with someone who can act. I know she got, she was better than I thought she was going to be in The Mandalorian. I know she got knocked quite a lot leading up to it. So I went in with very low expectations, and I didn't have a problem with the character or the performance, to be honest, but that's cool, Chad. I hear you. Takes to know games. Let's put Ahsoka on the main Mando crew as well as her own TV show. I mean, could happen now if they feel there is a hole that they have to fill with Cara Dune not being there. Gina Carano was good at stunts. That's it. Chad's still not a fan of her acting, and that's fine. Sidge also not a fan of her acting. She was outacted by a puppet and a guy in a helmet throughout. Everybody was outacted by the puppet, though. Let's be honest. I'd get fired if I said what she said. Someone suggested that the Bill Burr character could replace her as the main character of Rangers. Yeah, that's interesting. Yeah, he grew on me in that season. I wasn't particularly excited when we had that tease that he would be back. You know, I didn't enjoy him that much in season 1, but yeah, that's a good shout. And yeah, that's the point as well. You know what I said about the BBC? People, the BBC now, it's a rule. You will be fired if you say stuff like that, you know? And again, I know it's a different situation, but that's the thing, you know? Whatever your beliefs, you got to play the game when you're, you know, when you're kind of an ambassador for a family brand, you know? Right. Bo-Katan would be finding her place in The Mandalorian. Simon Drake, I really like Gina Carano in films. Haywire is great, and her and Herzog were my fave parts as were a bit newer and fresher. Yeah, I agree that she her character brought a breath of fresh air into the season. So Simon's a bit more pro Gina Carano's acting abilities. I think Disney will just ignore from now. Just not mention her from now. It's possible. They can still use the character in books. That wouldn't involve the actress at all. Yeah, they could do. Although I saw one of those clickbaity thumbnails when I logged in earlier and saying that she's been erased from books. I don't know if that was just. I mean, I didn't click, so it didn't bait me, but it did catch my eyes still. So I don't know what the situation is there. Rob Heaton, Gina got what she deserved. Honestly, she can be a provocateur on her own terms without a steady job. Since that's her preference, her role in terms of The Mandalorian can easily be written around. Yeah, I agree. No, I agree. You know, so with that final tweet, post, whatevs, I think while she probably hadn't been told she was out, I think she knew in her heart that she was out because she obviously hadn't been contacted regarding season 3. And you would have thought you'd have been contacted by now. So, yeah, I think that final one, what seemed the final straw was her doing it on her own terms, you know. Yeah, you know, and that was her choice. That if she was warned and spoken to about it, then you know it was her choice. Well, we don't get opening crawls, do we, in The Mandalorian? But Cara's X-Wing crashed. I don't think they should kill off the character. Marco, totally agree with you, Jamie. Hope they don't kill her character or recast it. Hopefully a few years from now she'll come back. Yeah. I don't think they should kill her off. I don't think they should recast the character. I don't think the character is important enough in terms of the Mandalorian storyline. Hopefully a few years from now she'll come back. But obviously, you know, the wrongs that have been done have to be righted, you know. The situation has to be resolved. And perhaps communicated more to the fans, I suppose, what really happened. Because I'm sure Disney would have warned her on a number of occasions about this. I'm sure conversations must have been had. I don't know. You know, maybe they hadn't. Where else? Peter, she won't be missed. It's very split in the chat in terms of, I'd say, I'm talking pro Cara here. I think we're all talking about the character. I was saying that Peter is more talking about the actor, as the character was a nice addition to the series. I don't follow her on Twitter also, by the way, so that's another reason why I don't see these tweets. I obviously get wind of the storms around them, but I just don't go on social media as much as I used to. It's just not a good place. And yeah, here we go. I know enough about her tweets to feel depressed thinking about it. I don't want to be in that place, to be honest. And, you know, there's a lot of horror on social media. And I don't want any of that. I can't even, I keep going about Brexit. Like, I'm at the stage now, Brexit's happened. I want Brexit to be a success now, you know, because it would be crazy not to. It's going to affect people I love. It's like not wanting the vaccines to work for COVID, you know, we want it to be a success now, you know. But at the same time, I just can't read stories about it because there's all the bad news stories coming out about Brexit. You know, the things people were warned about that would go wrong are happening, and I just can't read it. I can't, you know, part of me should be almost like, told you so, reveling in the glory of being proved right. Although I was, you know, following the advice of actual experts. I didn't know this stuff myself, but I don't. I feel sad, and I just switch off to it. And that includes this kind of thing as well with Star Wars. Let's see what David Milano says. I like the Cara Dune. We're going to come on to Rian Johnson in a minute. Chad, I've gone well over my 36 minutes. Right. David Milano, I like the Cara Dune character a lot for her potential, and I think Gina could have handled herself with more restraint in her social media. I'd have been very happy to never know her opinions. Yet, regardless of what you think about the opinions, in my opinion, for what it's worth, I've said it already. It's so clumsy, you know? Keep your opinions on both sides, perhaps. Although I don't know how Disney can police that. Keep your opinions to yourself when you're a public figure working for a family company, you know. And if the anti-masker thing is a thing, if she's an anti-masker, it's dangerous. It's a global pandemic, you know. It's just no. But yeah, restraint is the word. All right. Okay, so this is from Simon Drake. Just do it like Poochie in The Simpsons. Note, Cara died on the way back to her home planet. Chad, unsurprisingly, enjoyed that. And yeah, this sums it up. The world's crumbling, and I don't think we just mean with Cara Dune here. The world's crumbling. Let's not think about it from Takes to Know Games. Right. I'm 7 minutes over. Well, I'm ahead of you. I'm in the future. Like I think I'm about 30 seconds in the future. So I'm even more ahead over time. Right. Star Wars is a children's movie for kids of all ages. Yeah. Right. Okay. Let's just see. And Jay here. My main problem is Pedro posted the same kind of things on Twitter, but since his was directed against the right, he gets a free pass. The hypocrisy is what gets me. Yeah, like I said earlier, you know, I think this is a really complicated situation. I haven't seen Pedro's tweets either. I know there was, like I said before, he was knocking Trump supporters. I'm on the left side of politics. I'm not American. I don't vote in American elections. You know, my kind of comparison is Brexit, as I mentioned far too many times, for anyone's liking. But yeah, I mean, I don't know what Pedro said, but I agree. But I don't know how you can police it, and therefore I hear the hypocrisy. So I don't know what Pedro said. I don't know exactly what Gina's said on various occasions. But again, you know, the mask thing, if that's true in a pandemic, is not good, and also the comments towards the transgender community, if true, also not good. But then if Pedro called Trump supporters names, if you're a Trump supporter, that's not good, you know. Calling names is not good. Can't we all just get along? This is a complicated thing that I don't think can be solved. Right, let's see. Let's see what Gaz Nottingham says. Just haven't gone under 16,000 subscribers yet, but I suppose it's only a matter of time. Grief Gaga, Mando, how are you doing? Din, where is Cara? She is busy on Navarro, being a marshal and keeping an eye out on the guild while I'm here with you, Mando. That was bad, wasn't it? I'm sorry. Not your comment, Gaz. My performance of your comment. I'm sorry. No one needed that. Right. Tadeo, I'm sorry. I've definitely pronounced your name wrong. We spoke yesterday, didn't we, in the comments? To me, it seems that there was no clear rules about that, and Gina ended up paying the price. But then she was probably warned, right? Surely warned. Surely. So I don't think it was as abrupt as that. Maybe Pedro was warned. To be honest, I don't think he probably was. It's very difficult, isn't it, with these big names that they need to, particularly with Pedro for the storyline, keep hold of. I know. It's too much for me, to be honest. And also for Saintly Red as well. I'm not brave enough for politics. I think I'm with you. I used to be. Replace Cara with a transgender actor. Yeah, well, I'm on the side of just not replacing her, not killing her off, to be honest. Matthew Stokes is in the house. Lots of companies have social media policies these days. Absolutely. And I don't think stars should be above that. I really don't. And like I said before, going back to the BBC thing, it's for on-air talent. I hate that talent as well as off-air staff. I'm sorry, Chad. I've blown it. Yeah, so I've gone so far over time, I will not do the Rio Ferdinand story for this stream. Oh, wow. One person loved my Carl Weathers impression. Mando! Thank you, Takes to Know Games. Okay, let's have one more comment here. I am a career coach. This is Chad Campbell. And a stopwatch. Don't forget, a human stopwatch, helping lower income youth get jobs. If I post something borderline racist or bashing lower income people for being lazy or something, I would be fired. Makes sense. Seems fair. Absolutely. As I've said before, if what she said is true, if what is true about what she said, if that's true, absolutely. Disney can't defend that. Absolutely. Okay, Sid is saying Pedro apologized and Gina doubled down. This might be the difference. If that's true, I haven't seen an apology from Pedro, but I also haven't seen his. I don't follow him on Twitter either. That sums it all up. If Pedro apologized for his tweets that offended, he's still there. If he hasn't done it again, he's still there. What's the problem? Gina presumably doubled down, although as said before, it seems the situation was already she was already off the project by the time of the recent one. Yeah, I think this one sums it up from Sige. Right, let's get on to the Rian Johnson thing, because it's gone way over. I'm sorry. Okay, so I've got a story here. When I say story, I've got another screen to share with you. So, Rian Johnson, another controversial Star Wars subject tonight. This is never going to be a 30-minute show, was it? I don't know about this. So let's scroll through this a little bit. What's this advert that's playing? New Star Wars trilogy from Rian Johnson is still happening, but according to Sam Warner from Digital Spy, patience you must have. Right, so this comes from I don't know if it's Saraya or just Sarah Wilson, who is an author, I believe, and she's won a number of charity auctions to speak to people. She spoke to Daisy Ridley, and she's been posting. She hasn't recorded these chats, but she's been posting about them on Twitter. And what she said about her chat with Rian Johnson was this here. My fingers are cold now. I can't highlight it all. I'm sorry. I'm pathetic. I'm just going to post this now because I can see that I'm going to get a lot of requests. Yes, Rian's Star Wars trilogy is still on. No dates or timelines because he has other projects going on, but it is happening. That is all I know about it. So that's really where these headlines have come from. Nothing else, no official source from official comment from Disney or I mean, really it's an unofficial comment, sort of off the record comment from Rian Johnson, technically, isn't it? I feel like he's operating a sort of no news is good news policy with this. Nobody's told me that it's cancelled, so until they do, I will keep answering the question I keep getting asked by saying yes, it's still on. It's kind of like nobody's told me that I should really get a haircut or go home and rethink my life. So I'm working on the assumption that I don't need to do either, and muted comments don't count. So I kind of feel like that's the policy he's operating. And he's busy at the moment, and that shouldn't be a surprise, because whatever you think of The Last Jedi, I don't care if you don't like The Last Jedi. You don't need to be nasty about it. People who like The Last Jedi don't need to be nasty about it to people who didn't like it. It's cool either way. I enjoy some of the funny comments I get, like I said before, from people who don't like The Last Jedi. If it's done with humor, it's fine. But it shouldn't surprise you that he's busy, because he's a good filmmaker, a trained one, a professional one, you know? Does that mean he's perfect? There's no perfect filmmaker. Is The Last Jedi perfect? No, it's not. You know, I don't love everything Rian Johnson's done. Breaking Bad, he directed one of my favorite episodes, Ozymandias, and he also directed one of my least favorite episodes with Fly, you know? So this is just odd. It's just an odd situation. I don't think it's still on. It just seems strange that Disney haven't said something. Disney really should just say something. It is just weird now, to be honest, the situation. I mean, are they genuinely burnt by The Last Jedi, you know, with dividing the fan base? And, you know, is it not cancelled? And are they planning on sneaking it out there and hoping half of the fandom doesn't notice? I don't know what the plan is here. I don't know what the tactics are, the approach. But Disney should just say something, to be honest. I'd be all for it. I like The Last Jedi. I would be all for this trilogy. And to be honest, a brand new trilogy in a completely separate time zone to the Skywalker saga could be where Rian Johnson's best placed, you know, to be honest. He's a very talented filmmaker, an experimental filmmaker, and his experimental Star Wars. And, you know, I'm not going to hold this against you. If you're one of these people, it didn't work for many people, you know, and that's fine. So perhaps having his own complete baby, brand new Star Wars baby to play with is where he's best placed for his, filmmaking chops. Right. Let's see what you guys think. I don't think it's on. I don't think it's on. It's just odd that Disney haven't, you know, said anything about it when they've said so much about so many other things in terms of projects. Right. Danny Dyer in Star Wars. I don't know what I've just laid eyes on there, but anyway, Chad is not going to be happy with me, so let's just get through these comments regarding Rian Johnson. I want to know if you guys think his trilogy is really still on. And Takes to No Game says, I think he's just not got enough to announce yet. Yeah, I mean, obviously he's not very far into it from a creative point of view, but you know, why? I mean, his schedule, sure, but why haven't Disney, you know, said anything? That's the odd thing. That's the odd thing. Chad Campbell, I think Rian would be best at doing his own trilogy. Episode 8 wasn't a great bridging film, but showed me that he could be fantastic at his own trilogy. Yeah, I absolutely agree with that. I think that's where he'd be best placed. I can completely see how, you know, in certain places, The Last Jedi is misplaced, you know, as the filling to the sequel trilogy sandwich. But I've said before, the best version of The Last Jedi I experienced, and I didn't love The Last Jedi instantly. You know, it took a while to get there. The best version I saw was on a plane where I fell asleep, genuinely fell asleep before the Canto bite, woke up pretty soon after, and it was the best version for me. Philip Hawkins, if it's happening, I'm looking forward to Rian Johnson's trilogy. The problems with the sequel trilogy were not having a single creative vision like the previous trilogies with George. I agree. There is a small clip of me sort of interviewing Rian Johnson on the channel, and he confirmed that there was no handover with JJ. You know, it was like, here's the baton, you know, get on with it. That's what happened after The Force Awakens. There was no kind of like, right, this is what we have planned for Luke. This is the end point for this character. Tell us how you want to get to it. You know, it wasn't mapped out, was it? That's no secret. There was not much of a plan in place. So yeah, I agree. Having a single director for a trilogy, or at least, you know, overseeing a whole trilogy like you've got with Favreau and Filoni, is the way to go. Right, Rob Heaton, Ryan's been saying for years that he's still talking to Lucasfilm, doing other projects, etc. This is the same thing, misunderstood and dressed up as the trilogy still happening. May not be a trilogy. Yeah, that's also a thing. You know, it could be a spin-off film. Could be something for Disney Plus. Again, I don't know how I don't know how truly burnt Disney feel from The Last Jedi in terms of the fan reaction. But everything I heard was that Brian was really loved and got on well with everybody. There was no falling out. So I completely believe that he's still talking to Lucasfilm, and maybe a project of some sort is in the works. But just, I don't know, this trilogy just seems a bit doomed, to be honest. Dave Milano, I liked The Last Jedi a lot. How dare you? I'd love to see more of RJ's take on Star Wars. Yeah, you know, he has a very unique take on Star Wars, which no problem with this. Some people didn't like. And, you know, perhaps that unique take was a gamble, you know, in hindsight, a gamble on established classic characters, perhaps. But again, I have no problem with The Last Jedi and what he did with it. Yeah. It is non-news. I mean, it's all non-news, really, isn't it? In the grand scheme of things, everything we talked about tonight. But yeah, I don't get the silence. And yet, really, that all those headlines on Ryan's trilogy still being on were based on that one tweet that I read out earlier. Not from me reading it out. That didn't spark the media frenzy. People are still here. I can't believe it. Sorry, Chad. This is probably going to be the longest one, but let's give it a few more minutes. If I've missed a comment that you're desperate for me to see or read out, copy and paste it in again, if that's all right. Tenet has proved even Chris Nolan isn't perfect. No filmmaker's perfect, you know? No filmmaker's perfect. Chad Campbell in agreement, I believe, with Ryan having a trilogy to himself, as Philip was saying. Simon Drake, a Jar Jar story directed by Rian Johnson. Just imagine the fan reaction. Yeah. I don't think the internet's ready for that, to be honest, that discussion point. Matthew Stokes, I'm wondering if he's on a High Republic trilogy. Could be that they've waited to see the reaction to the novels and comics before putting out some details. Yeah, that's an interesting idea, because, you know, if the books and the comics are well received, then it's a natural progression, isn't it, to moving on into live action of some sort. Where are we? Sige, I can see why people wouldn't like The Last Jedi. I did, but if you moan about it on every post about it, it's bare annoying. That's what I, you know, and this is sort of what switched me off to the whole Gina Carano storm in advance. You know, again, I'm only sort of picked out pieces from that story, but it was the whole Last Jedi thing. You're seeing these messages from people, like, from both sides, you know, people who loved it attacking people who didn't like it, and vice versa. And it's not even bants, you know, it's not even banter. It's just pure yelling and ranting at each other, and there's just no need for it. There's no need for it. Again, you can be funny with it, and I see lots of funny comments about it on my videos, and that's why people unsubscribe from me over me liking it, you know. And I've never been particularly aggressive with my opinions. I don't think. Rob Heaton, no one has a divine right to direct Star Wars, and especially not the guy who tore the fandom irreparably in half. Ryan will be gifted an alternate failing upwards type job from Disney, and not his trilogy. I need to get a bigger screen, because I'm really struggling to read, or is my just eyesight just deteriorating as the stream goes on? Do I just need glasses? Is that the simple answer here? It's fine. I agree. No one has a divine right to direct Star Wars. Rian Johnson does not have a divine right to direct Star Wars, but he was presumably offered these films, and the offer hasn't been taken away from him, at least publicly, you know. And you would have thought he would just say, it'd be easier for him to say, I'm not doing it anymore, if he knew he wasn't doing it anymore. You know, if the story will go away if Disney says something. Right. Well, what we got here? What? Simon Drake. I prefer Ryan's noir type projects. Imagine a brick style mystery in the Star Wars universe. Very interesting. I think he could do some very interesting things with a brand new kind of Star Wars toy set to play with. Yeah. Will Motion, yeah, I'd love it to still be on. I think Disney are just holding back for a bit to try other directors out first. Yeah, and obviously, I know there's the Patty Jenkins Rogue Squadron movie, but there's not much announced in terms of films, is there? So it's obviously not the main focus at the moment. Peter, I'll think about it when there is a trailer. Till then, it's a bit of a non-issue for me. Yeah, fair enough, mate. Fair enough. What we got here? David Milano, maybe it'll become a Disney Plus series instead of a film trilogy. Might be low stakes for Disney if they're worried about blowback from some very vocal fans. Yeah, might be the safer, softer option these days. Astromus, hello there. Oppo, can you ever possibly get Jerome Blake or David Bowers? Onto the show. Onto These Are the Actors You're Looking For. Star Wars interview series, of course. New episodes drop on the first Tuesday of the month. Don't you forget that, people. Both played him. Yeah, both played him. And I think I tried Jerome Blake once. I will try again. I am currently I've scheduled a day. I know this sounds stupid, pathetic, but I've scheduled a day in the very near future, i.e. at the end of a month. I'm working on so much stuff for the channel at the moment, making the most of lockdown. So I kind of have to schedule what I'm doing because I'm very editing, man. It's editing. But I have a day where I'm going putting sort of emails in for future guests because I've got the next few months already lined up, and I want to be in a position where I'm way ahead. I want to be in a position eventually where I can put more out, not have to stick to one a month. But at the moment, with conventions not being on, I don't want to risk putting out too many and then not being able to get one and leaving you starving for a month. But yeah, I will definitely try that again for you. Frogger, hello, mate. I reckon Rian Johnson's better for artsy movies, not the man to stick to existing law or work around it. Yeah, it's fair enough. I've just shared a little message between Simon Drake and David Milano. I'm sorry for putting this public. I don't know if it was a private conversation. Star Wars Vibroblades out. Star Wars Belgium. That was from Sanely Red. Star Wars Belgium. I can't imagine Ryan making any more films given the attitude Lucasfilm has taken towards other directors in the past. Yeah, but I don't think they ever had any kind of falling out. Certainly not publicly. And there have been falling outs, haven't there, between Lucasfilm and a number of directors. And actually, Simon Drake, who's in the chat tonight, he made a comment in one of my recent videos regarding the Cassian Andor series, why Gareth Edwards hasn't, been named at least yet as a director of one of the episodes. It just seems a bit odd. And again, there was the issue with the reshoots, although I think that was a bit of a non-issue, to be honest. I don't think there was ever a falling out between Gareth Edwards. I remember as well when I was back when I could do some of my old jobs, which involved traveling. I found myself near San Francisco, and I'd done a little bit of work for Lucasfilm for the Star Wars show when they had things in the UK. And I'd never been to San Francisco before, and Andy Gutierrez, one of the hosts of the Star Wars show, although she does a lot more at Lucasfilm than that. I reached out to her, little cyber reach, and she said, "Come and have a look around." And I remember her saying how much she showed me one of the rooms where when would it have been? Would they have been editing? I can't remember when it was. So I don't know which film it was. Maybe Solo. But she showed me one of the rooms where they would have been editing the films, right? Because obviously the post-production is mostly done in the States, while the production's in the UK. And she'd say, some of the directors we don't see, like JJ takes it, in-house himself, but Gareth Edwards moved here for the process of editing, and we saw him all the time. He was such a nice guy. So from what I've heard, there was a really good relations with the Edwards. Right. No more. We've had too much tonight. Well, I've lost track of where I am. Sorry, Chad. Sorry, I've messed this up, haven't I? This is the longest one ever. We've gone over an hour. Okay. I think I'm up to date with the comments. No, I'm not. Here we go. A few more. Sige, after the similarities between The Force Awakens and A New Hope, Johnson was taking heat right off the bat that it would be an Empire ripoff. I think he had something to prove. I agree with that. You know, like, I think The Force Awakens was a solid return. You know, it was not particularly brave. I think for the most part, brought back maybe some of the fans who were lost from the prequels. At least, you know, brought back that kind of that warm, fuzzy feeling. And I think it did a good job of bringing in a new generation. You know, it was a safe bet of a film, and with all of that said, there was the worry that now they're just going to copy Empire Strikes Back, pretty much beat the beat. And they went in the completely opposite extreme, didn't they, really? Or Rian Johnson did. And yeah, he probably did feel like he had something to prove there, you know? Right, Matthew Stokes. The Last Jedi made me cry. Mark and Carrie's moment on screen touches me in a way no other part of Star Wars has. I didn't like a lot of the film, but the hate is ridiculous. Yeah, that was a very, very touching moment between the two. It really was. Yeah, and a little wink to 3PO, and the score was marvelous. You know, whatever you think about Star Wars films, for me at least, you know, I don't think there's ever been a bad score. What's this? The Bombad Bounty. I don't understand. This is interesting. I don't understand why he would come back after receiving so much negativity. He's better off doing his own original films. You have to say to him, if he does come back, fair play to the guy as well for the amount of stick he's had. It would be far easier for him just to wash his hands of Star Wars, and I think a lot of Star Wars fans would be happy for him to do that. But he's clearly not. So fair play to him for that. Okay, final few comments. I think I could imagine director Simon Drake. I could imagine directing a Star Wars Disney project would be limiting for a visionary director. Hearing stories about making Artemis Fowl solo, I can imagine some directors steering clear. Yeah, I mean, there's been a number of directors who have openly said they wouldn't touch a Star Wars project, which sort of on the face of it sounds nuts. But you can't blame him at the same time. Ryan's movie was nice. This is Neil James. Ryan's movie was nice that it tried something new and not the same old. We need to destroy the super weapon, but the problem is what he did was a giant pile of bamford poodoo, in my opinion. And that's fine. You're entitled to your opinion. And he really did try something new, and it didn't work for everybody. Rob Heaton on Gareth Edwards. Feels like Gareth Edwards has almost been Hollywood blacklisted since Rogue One. Wonder what that's about. I think you cut yourself off there, but I think about. I'm going to finish it for you. Yeah. He hasn't done anything, released anything. I mean, there could be all sorts going on behind the scenes. He could be writing, but he hasn't released anything since Rogue One. I'm pretty sure in saying TV, film. Okay, right. Chad Campbell's still here as I look to wrap up the show 1 hour and 5 minutes in. So there we go. Didn't expect such a long show. I'm sorry, longer than usual. But look, I'm going into Synder Cut with an open mind. Not expecting much, but still, I promise you, going in with an open mind. I don't think they should recast Cara Dune. I don't think they should kill off the character. If everything I've heard is correct, then Gina Carano, as Sige said, doubled down, you know, and you know, it was wrong in the first place. To double down is more wrong. And, you know, eventually, you know, whilst you have the right to free speech, the company you work for and represent has the right to, you know, to part ways with you. So there's that. And I don't think Rian Johnson's trilogy will see the light of day. But as a few of you have mentioned, maybe we'll get some sort of project, Star Wars related project from him in a different format. And I'll be up for that. Right. I think that's it. Everyone. This is the point where I need you to hang up, because I hate hanging up first. You know, I hate saying hate saying bye. All right, I'm going to do it now. Thank you, everybody, for joining. Thank you for the well wishes on reaching 16,000 subscribers. I'm pretty sure I will not be on 16,000 subscribers in a few hours' time. It happens every live stream for some reason. It's already gone down a couple I can see. But anyway, thank you, and we'll talk again next week. Goodbye.